Okay guys, I've got a little clutch trouble here. What I'm going to do, this clutch is supposed to engage. There's supposed to be a starter here, which my starter is gone. I've been pull starting it, wrapping a rope around it and pulling it. At any rate, there's supposed to be a chain. And when you kick the starter in, it's supposed to grab onto the end of the crankshaft and turn the motor over. So I've had to do this before with Gravely's. Remove the grease fitting and use like say a good degreaser, Alright tubers, I want to just go over with you what I've done so far. I tried to pull start this thing with this little rope here, and I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to, just wrap a rope around there and pull start it, but I don't have it in me. I did see this right here. This is your cog, for the it goes around the starter. It has a chain, goes around the starter. I took this grease fitting out. Remember I told you that it wasn't grabbing to where I could turn the motor over. Took the grease fitting out, sprayed a little carbon choke cleaner in there, got it freed up, and it's grabbing now. You can see how it grabs. Used to it just free wheel this way. I got to get this greased up. Got to find my grease gun, and I'm gonna borrow the starter off my dad's '64 model. We're gonna go down there and take that one off, and we're gonna get the starter put on it to where I can try to get this thing fired up. So we've got the '64 model Gravely here. This is my dad's, and what I need is the starter here, and I need the chain. I'm just going to borrow that off here so we can get test start mine. They're pretty different, but pretty much the same in a lot of ways. At any rate, you can see this doesn't have the governor on it like mine does, and it had the oil bath air filter there on it. And that's a tiller box. That's actually, excuse me, I'm a little shaky. That's the tiller box that goes on mine. While mine was out of commission, I'd borrowed my dad's last year for the garden. So let's go ahead and get this starter off here, and we'll see what we can do. Alright tubers, I got the starter on. Everything's ready to go with that, but when I tried to start it, I've got a bad solenoid. It's just set a long time, got gummed up. I don't know, I've never taken one of these apart. I don't know if I can take it apart, but I'm going to have to take it apart and clean it. Let me show you. I just want to show you real quick how I know it's a bad solenoid, so hang tight. Tested my battery to make sure it had charge. I just kind of temporarily clamped those cables onto the battery terminals because I don't have the right ends on my cables for that type of battery. I checked down here, right, I think you can see it right there. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, that's the solenoid, and I've got power to here. I checked it with a tester. I got power to here, and when you push the solenoid, it's supposed to put power to here, to get the starter cranking over. That's not happening, so I got to take this off and see if I can clean the solenoid up. Alright tubers, I cleaned up the inside of the solenoid as best I could. The arcing had kind of taken a lot out of it, but I got all the burnt spot out of it. And on these, what I did to improve the tension, as far as when it makes contact, the foot switch goes in, just pretty simple switch. I just bent these up, took my screwdriver and went under this flange here and bent these up. That's going to put a little more spring tension on the contact. So I'm hoping we can get a little bit of life out of this. It's not, it's not a life-ending situation or anything. It's just an inconvenience. If I had to put a whole different solenoid on it, I could do that. I just have to wire for it, reroute my wiring a little bit, and we could still make it work with a different solenoid. But you're not going to find these hardly. This is a very old switch. It's 1971 Gravely, and they just don't make them anymore. Quit making parts for them. So anyway, you make do with what you got. So I'm gonna put this back together and see if we can fire it up. Alright gang, me and Dee got this thing fired up. What we had to do, we had to bypass the solenoid. When I worked on it, I cleaned it up as much as I could, and it's not going to make enough contact to actually start the engine. But I wanted to give you all a little clip of it running here. That's how she runs. When we get a solenoid for it, I'll be able to actually get all the electrical hooked up. It's got too much compression to pull start like I used to, but it's running good. Runs real good, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing out of the garage, go ahead and drive it around back, and then try to get back on the engine stand.